Hello, my name is Robert Dean Steele, and this is Real Dads. We've been talking about blended family. There's a lot of challenges that come with putting two families together, and I'm not going to soft soap it or soft sell it. It is going to be a challenge. But the question is, are you up to the challenge? One of the ways that can happen, of course, is understanding that you have to do moderate changes over time. That means don't try and make everything happen. That's the problem with men. We have a tendency to be task-oriented, which means that we try to make everything happen immediately. And we have to understand that when it comes to a blended family situation, you have people who are not connected to you by blood. They haven't got a stake interest in what you've done before. They look at you as not really dad. They look at you as the stepdad. And it will take time for you to actually become their father. You'll never be their true biological father, but you can be a father figure for them as well. And that's important to be. In addition to new family members, it is an incredible adjustment for parents and children. It's a blending of two families together. I mean, think about the dynamics of you have strangers now coming into your house, or even if you've had time to get together, there's still going to be the dynamics of creating brothers and sisters. And then, of course, there's the creation of relationships between parents and children, which are already difficult enough. But then when you add the dynamic of the fact that there are some adjustments that need to be made, some former obstacles to overcome, these are all challenges. Not impossible, but they are challenges. And so your adjustments should be moderate over time. Have a plan. That means you sit down with your spouse and you say, okay, this is the plan. And over time, you make small adjustments. It's interesting that you can make 1,000-mile journey by taking one step at a time. And when it comes to that journey, making course corrections when course corrections need to be done. And that's what you need to do. Make moderate changes, okay? Fathering in a blended family situation is taking advantage of those everyday situations to kind of bring your influence, to kind of bring your ideas into the situation. They may not be used to your ideas, but come up with new ones and be creative and take advantage of every opportunity and make moderate changes, not big changes, moderate changes, and do it with the willingness of the individual. For example, keeping certain schedules and rituals between biological parents and children, like sports. Let's say, for example, at the beginning, you start off, let's say you're a hockey dad, let's say, and you've been used to taking children to hockey. Maybe allow your spouse to take them for a few times. And also as well, if you are you come into a situation where the mom has been taking her child, the boy or the girl, to hockey or to whatever sports it is, and you say, do you mind if I take them? And then you start taking them or taking them together as time and schedule permits, and start building a relationship with them. You're now standing in the stand saying, go Johnny, go Jill. And they're listening to that and they're thinking, wow, that's different. I used to hearing mom or dad say that. And all of a sudden they have this individual. Cooking is another great way. You say, well, dads don't cook. I don't know. A lot of dads these days do cook. Well, help out in that respect. Do housework with your kids, and slowly integrate new family members into those experiences. Work together on this. You see, what you're doing is you're taking ordinary routines, ordinary situations, and making them times for bonding, times for communication, times for interaction, times for, connection, and all those other words that we use. What you're doing is you're becoming their dad. What you're doing is becoming their mom. You are becoming the stable person in their lives. The biggest thing that you can do, Dad, is pray with them. Maybe they're not used to having a father figure come in at night and say, do you mind if I pray with you? They may be resistant at first, but you know what'll happen? Then they'll say, sure, Why not? And you pray with them. You pray a nice little prayer. You say, God bless you. Good night. And off you go. And what that does is build routines. You take them to church. And maybe they're not used to going to church, or maybe they were used to going to church. But it's wonderful to them to sit there with their dad. Now, understand it's going to take time. But when you do these things, these little things, with a direct plan, moderate changes, little by little, bit by bit, you know what's going to happen? You're going to have the family that God always intended you to have. You say, well, is he the God of the second chance? Yes, he is. How many times has he forgiven you? And maybe, just maybe, this is your second chance. My name is Robert Dean Steele. You have yourself a great and godly day. This is Real Dads.